Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Yeah. Too up, too down.
Look at this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted the crown and to be celebrated. I rented a tux and I ordered a mink. Stood in the mirror like mama, I made it. Proceeded to brushing the teeth in the sink. Caught me a grill and I'm so melanated. I polished the chain, I ain't gold in the link. And I got me a baby who gave me some babies. I'm raising a lady and building a king. Too cold. You too busy running with another man lane, I guess. Yeah, too bold. I be running on the one way, never change my set. Like, I don't ever use my signals. Yeah, I be in the lane myself. Yeah, I don't gotta change my mental. Yeah, and I ain't gotta chase my wealth, and I accept my daddy got a kingdom, and everything I ever got is his. If I ever got a problem, I'ma seek him. I never doubt him. Been about his biz, oh man. Been there. I ain't gotta ride on the wave when the ocean is his. Close with the kid with a
What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
What it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of Real Estate Friday Live. We call it the Investor's Edge. Guys, hey, this is going to be your partner today. Cliff is taking care of some appraisal business for us, guys. If you could, do your partner a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. If you see a little bell on any platform that you're on, hit that bell so when we come live, come kick it with your partners, man. We got a good one today, y'all. We got a good one today. Guys. Real quickly, guys. Yeah, you know, we've been talking realistically about real estate and cryptocurrency, all right? Real estate and cryptocurrency because we're in a leverage-based system. So the first topic we're going to talk about today, guys, is, man, the U.S. housing market. Can cryptocurrency, can it ignite the housing market again? Can it do it? We're going to see. All right. We're going to see. Let me go and get this right. Hold on one second, guys. There we go. We're going to see if it can, because of the fact that there's been a lot of talk about cryptocurrency. And I believe that this is what the Trump administration is going to use to kind of catapult the lending in the U.S. housing market. So can it ignite the housing market again? Well, you know, I've been talking about tokenization. It's a term we're going to talk about today, but also how it's already been used currently in the commercial arena and also a little bit in the residential arena. You don't believe me, guys? Let's dive into this thing real quickly. Let's go to CNBC real quickly, guys, and let's see what's going on with this. And we're going to see what's going on with this up front. So hold on one second. There we go. We'll see what's going on with this, guys, and see how this is going to work. But again, this is CNBC, and it's talking. I want to see. I want you guys to see the title of it. The title of this, real quickly, guys. It says, "Could crypto-backed mortgages put the U.S. housing market at risk?" At risk. So I'm asking the question of igniting. They're asking the question of risk. That's what happens. Here we go. Let's get into it.
It's no secret that buying a house is expensive. The average sales price for a U.S. home has hovered around $400,000 since the end of 2021. For most people looking to cover the cost, that means taking out a loan. And that means letting a bank pour over your financial details, your salary, bank balances, retirement accounts, all to determine how much you can afford and how risky it is to lend you the money. And if you're among the 15% of Americans who invest in digital assets, you haven't been able to include them when applying for a mortgage, but that could soon change. A June directive issued by the Federal Housing Finance Agency ordered mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to develop proposals to consider crypto as an asset in single-family home risk assessments.
It helps normalize crypto,
Yeah.
helps to legitimize cryptocurrency, which I think helps the president's agenda.
I think you got to take it as political more than substantive is the way I would put it.
Regulatory uncertainty, volatility, and the inability to easily verify reserves has kept most crypto out of the mortgage underwriting framework.
Interesting.
But that could all change with this directive, a landmark shift for the U.S. housing finance system.
The lender would look at the assets that a potential borrower has, and before they might have only considered stocks and bonds and those traditional kinds of investments, but now they would consider those less traditional cryptocurrency investments. And it might be a bit difficult for them to assess the riskiness, but I think they're used to assessing the riskiness.
Sure.
There are stocks that are even more volatile and risky than some long-standing cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So I think for the lender, it would be pretty easy for them to adapt their framework to incorporate crypto into that.
Yeah.
The move from the FHFA found immediate backing from a Republican lawmaker in D.C. who introduced a bill to codify the directive into law. But the proposal from the federal lending agency also received criticism from those who argue backing loans with crypto could add new stress to the home lending market.
Interesting.
So how would this directive work? What does it mean for mortgage lending? And will it become law?
So again, guys, as you can see, they're saying, could crypto-backed mortgages, because of the volatility, could it be a housing market risk? I can see their point, but from a leverage standpoint, I see the reason why Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac actually added that when it comes to retail buyers in the residential space, you can actually add cryptocurrency to your balance sheet to make you more bankable. Right? To make you more lendable to when it comes to banks, because you're adding an asset which has that value on to your balance sheet. That is huge when it comes to for those that actually own it. Now, a small number of Americans do own it, 15%. It's not a lot of Americans, but if the psyche is from the administration is if you can normalize or add more credibility to cryptocurrency by partnering it with the U.S. government, it makes it more safe to the consumers to go out and invest money into crypto because they see the benefit of it, because it kind of functions like a retirement account, like a retirement account, like a 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, 403b, and that can be added to your balance sheet as an asset to present to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I can handle this loan, or I can qualify for this mortgage because of I have these reserves. So you can view it as reserves. Now, if you wanted to monetize it, you could via borrowing, I think up to 50% of the LTV, loan to value, of the valuation of your cryptocurrency. So you can borrow from that, but if you do that, that's going to knock down the reserve part of that. So they're going to push back on leveraging crypto to acquire the real estate. So you can't use it as a functionality like you do a 401k, right? Or maybe a self-directed IRA, right? Depending on the context there. But you can actually add it to your balance sheet as reserves. So I can see how that's going, how that can actually be, guys, if that makes some sense, all right? This is going to be very, very, very informative today, guys. Very informative. So if this goes on for a little bit, we're going to listen to a little bit more, guys. Then I actually want to go to the commercial section. Check this. But right now, it's talking about residential. Here we go.
FHFA Director Bill Pulte signaled a new era of crypto integration into traditional financial infrastructure when he announced the lending agency's new stance on digital assets. The order directs mortgage giants to develop proposals that include digital assets without requiring borrowers to liquidate them into U.S. dollars before a loan closes. In late June, Pulte said in a post on X that after significant studying, he ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare their businesses to count crypto as an asset for a mortgage. He added that the development aligns with President Trump's vision to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. A couple of days later, Pulte joined CNBC's Money Movers, where he discussed the proposal and weighed in on whether this could potentially introduce new default risk, given crypto prices are more volatile than stocks and bonds.
Let's see what he says.
And the first thing that we did when we talked about this was do no harm.
do no harm. And so that will be the approach by which Fannie and Freddie and their respective boards take as it relates to this issue. I feel very confident that we have very good people that understand that we need to make sure that safety and soundness is intact. And I can tell you one thing, we are going to be very focused on the volatility of crypto and whatever assets may or may not be included in being recognized as collateral. This is further evidence of why the Fed needs to lower rates, because we are trying to do everything we can to increase affordability. And one of the reasons that we are doing this with regard to crypto is because crypto has an enormous opportunity to help with the affordability equation. I mean, Bitcoin is a very stable asset in our view. Obviously it has volatility, but a lot of assets have volatility. Okay. And a lot of people have a lot of wealth in Bitcoin. And so we want to make sure that people have access to the American dream, and we're doing everything we can.
Under the guidance, only digital assets held on U.S. regulated centralized exchanges will qualify. On top of that, Fannie and Freddie must design safeguards to account for crypto's volatility. The government-sponsored enterprises must also submit their plans to the FHFA.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac can set guidelines. They may have to haircut the assets if they're going to count them towards your assets as a purchaser of a home. So you come to them and say, my income last year was X, and by the way, I have $10 million worth of Bitcoin. They have to decide how much of that they're going to count towards the credit assessment. But more importantly, your lender has to decide whether or not they want to deal with you at all.
That makes
And
sense.
that is the other piece of the puzzle
That makes
frankly FHFA can't force on the industry.
They can't.
Each bank, each lender has to make that determination.
Now, the FHFA can't force the industry to take on this new initiative, but Fannie and Freddie are the largest purchasers and guarantors of mortgages in the United States.
What that means, guys, is they can't force them, but what they can do is force them by saying, we're not going to buy these assets unless you add this amount of percentage of said notes backed by crypto, or with crypto actually within the borrower's portfolio. So they can't force them, but they can force them because they're the largest purchaser of these notes. So most likely these bankers who make a nice amount of coin in fees and sometimes in arbitrage, they'll bend the knee most likely and do this as long as Fannie and Freddie Mac provide some guidance in how much Bitcoin or cryptocurrency they can actually use for a borrow, and additional guidelines when it comes to the leverage point that they can use as far as, okay, out of this Bitcoin, you can use a certain amount of percentage. The credit requirements, is there going to be any wiggle room there? In addition to cryptocurrency reserves, how much more cash reserves do you need? There's going to be a lot of things that they can put in place so that the banks can say, we're following your guidelines. It's a pass on the liability type of scenario, which in my opinion is extremely smart for banks, particularly mortgage banks, because mortgage banks, guys, how they number fund deals, guys. It's real simple. You have a company let's just say Wells Fargo or Bank of America on their mortgage side, right? They normally have what they call a warehouse line of credit, right? And I even use, let's say, Rocket Mortgage, right? That's just use one of them, Rocket Mortgage. And they have what they call a warehouse line of credit. Now, a warehouse line of credit is just a line of credit, moderate interest on that as well. What they do is they use that line of credit to fund your home purchase. Then once they fund it, that same day or the following day, whatever the time frame is that that's agreed upon, is then sold to Fannie or Freddie Mac on the secondary market. That's what actually happens, guys. Period. That's what actually happens. So your loan service, or whoever you get your mortgage statement from, they didn't fund your loan. No, your mortgage banker did through their warehouse line of credit. And what they do is they underwrite the loan based on the takeout partners, Fannie and Freddie Mac's criteria, right? That's how they normally do this. This is done on the residential end and also done on the commercial end, the investor end. Both sides do this. On the investor end, it's the same process, but the key thing is this here is it's sold on the secondary market to other investors, not named Fannie and Freddie Mac. Fannie and Freddie Mac, they do deal a little bit with commercial. They do, Well, actually, let me step back. It can be Fannie and Freddie Mac on the commercial side, but Fannie and Freddie Mac are definitely on the residential side. That makes some sense, guys. All right. So that was a great breakdown. Now let's bring in the commercial side, guys. All right, because I'm a real estate investor and private equity financer, and so for me, this really interests me, and I want to talk about this. So now they're talking about commercial real estate going on the blockchain.
And welcome back to Worldwide.
Hold on. There we go.
Exchange. Blockchain technology has already disrupted the financial services industries out there, offering ways to tokenize assets and speed up transactions. The real estate market is also dipping its toes into the blockchain pool. It started in residential, but it's now quickly moving into commercial. Our Diana Olick joins us now with much more in this week's Property Play. Diana, good morning.
Good morning, Frank. Yeah, earlier this year, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were ordered to count a borrower's cryptocurrency holdings as assets to qualify for a loan. Some lenders like Propi are already doing crypto-backed mortgages for both residential and commercial property loans. I spoke with Tony Giordano, a crypto and blockchain disruptor in the real estate space, about that evolution.
If somebody comes to me now and says, I want to buy a house using Bitcoin, my question is why? Why on earth would you trade an asset that's going to go up 20 more times than that house will in the next 20 years? So now you have all of these new private equity firms giving you a loan against your Bitcoin asset so you don't have to get rid of it, and now you can just go buy the house traditionally.
Even more important, Giordano says, is real estate moving to the blockchain. A recent report from Deloitte said industry players now realize that blockchain-based smart contracts can play a much larger role in CRE, potentially transforming core CRE operations such as property transactions, purchase, sale, financing, leasing, and management.
I don't see how the entire real estate industry will not be on the blockchain within 10 years. It's the most secure platform and technology to do it. So 10 years, I'd be surprised if it takes 10 years.
Because it saves money?
It saves money, it saves time, everything is instantaneous.
Speed, time.
Now, some companies are already tokenizing real estate assets in order to sell them in pieces, sort of like CMBS, commercial mortgage-backed securities. Some are putting land records onto the blockchain to protect properties from being stolen or altered by cyber criminals. Now, there's much more on this in today's Property Play newsletter and video podcasts with Tony Giordano. If you have
so again, guys. So again, you hear now people actually advocating for the entire real estate market, which is residential and commercial, to go on the blockchain. Why? Speed, they say security, right? And you can maximize your liquidity quickly. That's why they're looking at this whole thing, right? So from the mortgage industry, the real estate industry on the residential side and commercial side, I got to be fair, is really predicated upon the loans being done at a high clip, right? A lot of loans are done at a high clip. You hear mortgage company that says, we funded $100 billion worth of loans last year. That means they funded and sold it. And they made a lot of money. They made a lot of money doing that. Because typically they would do $100 billion, they may charge 2 points. So $100 billion times 2 points is a lot of money they actually made. So that's and additional and other fees as well also. So again, do I see crypto being a vital player in the real estate game? In other words, residential and commercial, the real estate going on the blockchain? Yes. Why? Speed, right? Functionality, right? Maximum LTV. Does it make some sense? And security. Think about it. When it comes to you buying a home, residential home or commercial property, let's just say residential, typically that takes you about, from start to finish, 30 to 45 days. Okay, let's just say 45 days to be safe. 45 days to close. Okay? So it's what it is. So from start to finish, 45 days. Now, if you do this on blockchain, you go from 45 days of closing to 3 minutes. Which one do you prefer? 45-day closing or 3 minutes? Notice that they actually mentioned the word tokenization. Tokenization Now, this is how we're going to fit this in, guys. Let's go to the next video real quickly, guys. We're taking a deep dive in this real quickly. Don't want to go to him next. Yeah, no, I'm going to go tokenization first. Let's go tokenization real fast. Back to CNBC, guys, real quickly. They did a great job on this. And let's talk about tokenization, because I want you guys to understand what this is. So if you hear this come up, you can actually understand what they're talking about. It's about how tokenization could shake up the $52 trillion U.S. real estate market. $52 trillion U.S. That is residential and commercial. Do you think it's going on blockchain? Hell to the yes. Let's get to it.
This is New York City's East Village, and I'm standing in front of 13 East and West. In 2018, it was Manhattan's first property to try a new approach to ownership. Fractions of the condo tokenized on a blockchain. The effort was put together by companies Propeller and Fluidity as an alternative way to finance the development. The move was lauded by the Web3 industry as a way to take the technology mainstream, but the project ultimately failed.
A lot of people still don't really understand, oh, what are the tokens? What does that actually mean? And it's just sort of a novel concept.
Despite that setback, there are companies operating today that believe the technology can change how we interact with real estate. They're on a mission to let homeowners more easily tap into the value of their homes, or even just let people...
Hold on, let's go back to this, guys. Look at this.
They're on a mission to let home...
It says, house rich Americans are sitting on nearly $30 trillion in home equity. Let me say it again for the folk in the back row. $30 trillion in home equity. Just sitting on it. That's a ton of money. A ton. And what they're saying is the fastest way to get access to that 30 trillion plus is through blockchain, cryptocurrency. Let's keep going.
Homeowners more easily tap into the value of their homes, or even just let people buy real estate in a time when many feel it's harder than ever to purchase property.
So they're saying now this is needed to make it easier for people to buy homes.
The key benefits of investing into fractional real estate are you don't need the $100,000, the $200,000, the $300,000 to get started in it.
This can take form in concepts like tokenized rental properties.
Wow.
We turn houses into tokens that anyone can trade.
On Lofty, a rental property marketplace, investors are able to spend as little as around $50 for one fraction of a given property.
Wow.
The properties are owned by an LLC, which is governed by a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. This means that all investors get to vote on key issues, like selecting a property manager.
Everyone is an active manager. And so as a result of that, legally speaking, the DAO itself on paper has no manager. It's managed by a smart contract on the blockchain. Essentially, any decision to operate or manage the property is decided collectively by the group voting.
There's always governance votes, whether it's to make repairs, change property managers, there's always a vote that comes forward.
Vesta Equity is a platform taking a different approach. Homeowners can sell a portion of their home equity to an investor by tokenizing what's called a home equity sharing agreement. This lets the homeowner get cash by selling the token, and the investor can make money through future appreciation of the property, which raises the value of the token.
If you are a homeowner and you've paid off a mortgage and spent your entire life paying off a mortgage, you need to access that equity again. Why is it that you have to go back into debt? So what we've created is a solution whereby the homeowner can tokenize their asset, access whatever amount of equity they want to access, and then through our marketplace, we partner them with investors who want to invest in that asset.
Homeowners can tap into their home equity by selling a token representing a portion of that equity. Vesta says this lets the homeowner access the value of their home without borrowing money like they would in a home equity loan or line of credit. The agreement also protects the investor by preventing the homeowner from selling below market value.
The homeowner maintains residential rights, and as they would in a mortgage situation, they still have to pay their taxes and they still have to pay maintenance and insurance. The investor does not have the right to go and live in the house, doesn't have the right to go and reside in the house. It's really you got to think of it as they're a silent partner, a silent investor in your home.
If the homeowner decides they want full ownership of their property, they're able to buy their share back at market value. Now, both Lofty and Vesta Equity have secondary markets to give investors even more liquidity.
It's really the transactions and the secondary trading between owners that is really unique about this model that you didn't get with traditional real estate, just because of how difficult it is to transact and move the assets around and how expensive it is.
These platforms might be seeing millions of dollars in transactions, but there's still a question of how they can operate within U.S. regulations.
So before they get into that, guys, man, that's very interesting. They gave 2 scenarios on this, and both scenarios have the same foundation: access to liquidity faster, quicker, and if you're an investor at a low capital ask, $50 per unit, and there's a governance there. I mean, this is coming. It's already here. This is going to become mainstream. It is. I've got to say it is, guys, because it solves so many problems for the U.S. government. It does. It does. And if you're a smart consumer, for the consumer too. Think about it. If you can get access to your equity faster, right? Faster with a silent partner, right? Or if you want to do a lease agreement, hello, renters, and you can do it from a leasing standpoint and or from a buying standpoint. Both are liquidity. Does that make sense? I mean, this is a game changer. It realistically, this is coming. It's already here. I'm trying to tell you guys, you have to learn about crypto. Now, let's go a little bit deeper, guys. Let's bring in one of the GOATs on this. The GOATs, Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone has now made a serious push into the crypto space. He really has. And no matter what you think about Grant, he owns $5+ billion worth of real estate. That's a lot of real estate. I mean, I own a lot as well, but he owns a lot of real estate, guys, more than I do, a lot more than I do. And when he speaks about real estate, I listen intently. So let's see what he has to say about cryptocurrency. Let's go.
Welcome back. Real estate mogul and entrepreneur Grant Cardone, hoping to change the game of investing with new plans to combine cryptocurrency and real estate into one vehicle. Cardone also looking to take his company public this year while holding the largest corporate Bitcoin treasury. Joining me now, the man himself, Cardone Capital and Cardone Training CEO, Grant Cardone. Grant, great to see you. Welcome back.
Always good to be with you.
So how do you combine real estate with crypto? Tell us your plans.
Yeah, so we're basically taking large real estate complexes that have income on them and combining them with Bitcoin to give us a situation where we have both liquidity and illiquidity. The Bitcoin doesn't cash flow, Maria, as you know, but the housing does, and it's one of the lowest sharp scores in the world is apartment complexes. That's why so many insurance companies, very, very stable asset class, a way to protect your capital and get cash flow. And then you combine it with Bitcoin that is very volatile and very liquid. You get something that would normally do 12 or 14% that could potentially do 35% a year and be a very safe investment.
So I mean, we're about to talk with the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, and I'm going to ask him to lay out how digital assets will change and change the way people handle money. What do you think the future looks like when it comes to crypto and digital assets as the Senate and the House try to zero in on the regulatory framework around this new world?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Maria, President Trump and the administration is very aggressively looking at how the American people can have their money, their financial system stable and doing well for them, both in tokens and Bitcoin and the cryptos and also in housing. They were in my offices this week asking, hey, how can we loosen up this housing situation before Jerome Powell leaves in May? And also the tokens came up. And so, you know, the banks are fighting back on Coinbase, providing a yield on tokens. I think and believe, and Larry Fink has said this as well, all assets will be tokenized in the future. We're looking at actually both going public with our Bitcoin real estate strategy and then tokenizing the real assets themselves and having both a public company and a tokenization. So this has happened. I'm 67 years old. It's a new world of finance. For all of you seniors out there or older people, look, the world is going to change in finance just like it did in cars and phones.
Well, what does that mean when you say...
Stop right there. He is... Man, I liked how he broke that down. Grant was saying that combining real estate with crypto, guys, is the bank's money is backed by a tangible asset, right, which is real estate, right? And then also you have crypto in there as well from a liquid standpoint to where you can actually monetize the said asset, right, by tokenizing the commercial asset itself, right, in a second position, of course, because the same position is the bank, and you can leverage that the resources out of the tokenization. I mean, like this is kind of, I gotta say, kind of brilliant a little bit. Is it risky? Anything's risky. Anything's risky because you have greedy people. But from a leverage standpoint, this is kind of brilliant. From a leasing standpoint, this is kind of brilliant. From a transaction speed standpoint, this is brilliant. And they believe both in the private sector and in the government that this type of setup can reset or save or ignite the housing market, and number two, also in the transaction be more secure, and they're done a lot faster and at a lesser cost. Guys, when you go out and buy a property, whether it be commercial or residential, you get what they call, depending on the state. In Texas, it's called a HUD statement. In Florida and other places, it's called an ALTA, right? ALTA. They're the same document. Have you guys read that to see all those damn fees? I mean, there's a whole bunch of damn fees on those HUDs. I mean, and there's so many hands in the pot. You have the insurance company, the title company themselves, the abstractor of the title company. You have the appraiser. You have the lender and their fees. I mean, you got the government, local and state. It's ridiculous how many fees you actually have on that HUD. What if you could do this a transaction that normally takes 45 days, done in 3 minutes, right? At a lesser cost in fees. That's attractive to not only me as an investor, but also residential buyers. You're talking about a turn of capital so quickly. My God, that's actually kind of brilliant, guys. I gotta say, this is kind of sexy. I do. I have some questions that I want to ask, you know what I'm saying? And so we're doing another deep dive on this on another podcast, guys, but this is pretty brilliant, guys. You better get to understand and know what crypto is, what a blockchain is, what a token is, the different cryptocurrencies out there, what the Genius Act is, this administration's mentality behind this as well, Fannie and Freddie Mac's mentality as well, the secondary market as well, private equity companies. You better understand what's going on with cryptocurrency in both the residential and commercial industries. If not, you SOL. You are. It's real simple, guys. It's not hard. My gosh, this was good. This was good. Now, guys, let's dive into the next topic real quickly, guys. Real quickly. Next topic. One sec here. Guys, you understand that when it comes to New York City, one second. I'm gonna get rid of this real fast. New York City, guys. New York City. Zohran Mamdani, the new mayor, has came out and said that he wants to raise the property taxes to 9.5% on property taxes for homeowners in New York. New York is one of the most highest taxed states and cities in the nation. My question is hold on one second. That's the wrong one. My bad, y'all. 1 second. You got to be kidding me. Got it. Here we go. The property tax surge, right? New York, he still wants to raise it to 9.5%. Let's see why he wants to do this. Okay, let's bring in Zohran Mamdani. This guy, boy. This guy. Hey, we try to tell y'all in New York, but here is the reason why he wants to raise these taxes, guys. He wants to raise them. Come on. Here's Zoran Mandani. Let's see what he has to say, guys. Here we go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this here. Boom. Is that better? That's better. Here we go.
At the heart of this path is a property tax increase. This would effectively be a tax on working and middle-class New Yorkers who have a median income of $122,000. The second path also requires us to raid our reserves. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027. These are steps that have been taken before, but only in moments of extraordinary external crisis. Mayor Bloomberg's response to the 2008 financial collapse, and Mayor de Blasio's response to the enormous revenue shortfall caused by the pandemic. We do not want to have to turn to such drastic measures to balance our budget. At the heart.
So again, guys, he ran on giving everything for free. Now he's saying that, hey, I need to raise your taxes 9.5%. Because he wants the governor of New York to bless him taxing the rich, because that's what he ran on, right? But the problem with that is she's running for re-election this year. Problem with that. Now, let's see the fallout on this, guys, real quick. Let's see what's going with the fallout here, because there's been a lot of fallout on this here. And we'll give you the real estate section in a second, but I want you guys to understand what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to the tax portion of this thing, because of the fact that this is going to potentially breed a lot of problems. All right, so let's get into this real quickly. Let's dive into it. Here we go.
What we put forward was what we characterized as actions of last resort. I described them as last resort because we have a broken property tax system in the city. What we are hoping for, what we will spend every day looking towards, is working with Albany to increase taxes on the wealthiest and the most profitable corporations such that a fiscal crisis is not resolved on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers.
The Democrat power struggle spilling out into the public eye today as socialist New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani renews his call to tax the rich, a plan that New York Governor Kathy Hochul flatly rejects. The New York Post didn't hold back. Today's cover reads, "Stick 'em up, Mayor Mamdani threatens Hochul, raise taxes or else." Let's bring in Jerry Baker, Wall Street Journal editor-at-large and a Fox News contributor. So Mamdani throwing down the gauntlet to Kathy Hochul, saying either you raise taxes on the rich or corporations, or I'm going to impose a 9.5% real estate tax on everybody across New York City. It brought this reaction from Senator Rick Scott, who said, quote, "Surprise, surprise. It took Mamdani less than 3 months to demand a massive tax hike. It's the same old story where socialists promise everything for free, then demand hardworking Americans pay the price. Socialism never works." Well, it works until you run out of other people's money. Right, Jerry?
Yeah, what a great time to be a New Yorker, John. Many of us are in that unfortunate position right now. You know, who's going to raise your taxes highest, the governor or the mayor? Look, as Senator Scott said, Mamdani's actually been mayor for 49 days. I find it amusing that he refers to this as his last resort option. We've literally been in office. The snow's been on the ground the entire time that he's been in office, and he wants to already raise New Yorkers' taxes. Look, this is catastrophic because we already pay New Yorkers already pay the highest, among the highest taxes in the country. New York City, which of course has an additional tax in addition to state income tax, is excruciatingly high tax.
Wow.
The idea that that's going to be good for the city, that it's going to be good to tax people even more than they are already,
it's crazy.
It's madness. It means more people will leave the city than already have. There's been a steady outflow over many years.
Yeah.
But as you say, what's interesting is this standoff between the governor, the Democratic governor up in Albany, and the mayor down here in New York City. He doesn't have the option to raise income taxes without approval from the governor, so he's going to try and do it in other ways, raising property taxes, by the way, which will hit many, as you know, property prices are very high in New York. So the plan he has will hit not just the rich, as they keep claiming, but huge numbers of middle-class taxpayers. So yeah, this is socialism in action.
So stop right there, guys. I wanted to get to that part because this property tax hike hits not only the rich, but also the middle class. And the purchase prices of the property values in New York City is already high. And they normally charge a percentage. Like for instance, we're looking at a home somewhere here in Dallas, and as I was looking through it from an investment standpoint, the property tax rate is 1.66%. So there's a valuation, right? That's a percentage of the valuation, and that's how you get your tax bill, right? So again, we charge like for instance, our rate was 1.66% of the valuation. Now, guys, I have this right here real fast. If you, let's say you have a property in New York that says worth $1 million, right? $1 million times 9.5%. That's $95,000. That's the property tax. $95,000. That's property tax for the year divided by 12. That's $7,916 a month. $7,916 a month in property taxes. That's crazy town. That's crazy town. Now, let's bring in another side of this thing real quickly. So I want to go here. Oh, not that. I want to go here. This property tax, will higher taxes lead to foreclosures? Okay, I want to go here next. Let's bring in. I believe he is. He may be part of the New York City Council. I don't know. We'll see. He's talking about another promise that what's going to have was freezing rents, right? And again, so you're coupling freezing rents as well as hacking up property tax percentage on the valuation. That's a terrible combination, right? Will this type of combination lead to foreclosures? Because people cannot afford to pay that. Because when it comes to a rent-free standpoint, that's very unattractive to landlords. It's already New York City is already a tenant-leaning city. Now you put another burden on the landlord, they're out. They're out. Coupled with also our property tax bill is higher, that hits not only the landlords, but also the rich and the middle class. I mean, this is a recipe for disaster. Here we go.
Congressman, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
So it seems like we are starting to feel the warmth of collectivism. If there were only some previous examples from history to teach us what happens when you try to impart socialism, what there are, Cuba, Venezuela, Russia, China, we could go on here. But this is the most predictable thing, Congressman, that we could have seen coming from Mamdani.
No question. As Margaret Thatcher famously said, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. And he's finding very quick that New York City, which has been on a drunken spending spree for over a decade, has run out of other people's money.
Correct.
The fact is that since Mike Bloomberg left office at the end of 2013, New York City has increased its city budget by $40 billion. That's a 50% increase in city spending. That's on top of New York State increasing its spending by over $100 billion. Now, mind you, New York City now spends more than the entire state of Florida, despite Florida having a population of roughly 23 million and New York City a population of a little over 8 million. So you have significant challenges in New York City fiscally, and Mayor Mamdani is about to make it worse by demanding Kathy Hochul and the state legislature either raise taxes by $9 billion or now threatening that he will raise city property taxes by 9.5%, which would be among the highest in anywhere in the country.
Yeah, it's a shame. And then you have Donovan Richards, the current Queensboro president, a Democrat, recently speaking out against Mamdani's budget proposal. Take a listen to this.
Wow.
And this is certainly a setback if this 9.5% increase happens. I sat on the property tax task force, so I was encouraged to hear the administration and the mayor speak of some other options on the table, including looking at assessments. So we'll see what Albany comes back with. But the bottom line is we should not arbitrarily put the city's budget on the back of everyday New York.
Yeah, Congressman, your reaction to even Democrats seeing that the socialist policies.
So again, now you have a fracture in that party, but put aside the politics. Will this lead to foreclosures? It could. It could. Let me give you guys an example real quickly, okay? Give you guys an example real fast. Is during COVID and shortly after COVID, in New York City alone, typically a good time frame for office space is like 12 months, maybe a little bit over that, maybe 16 months, maybe. They had a 36 plus month time frame for office space. That's unheard of. Unheard of. And so now what's happening is the mayor's talking about freezing rents and also hiking up taxes to 9.5%. What that is going to do is cause for homeownership to be unaffordable for New Yorkers. So you may see an uptick in foreclosures. So if that's the case, is it an opportunity for investors? Potentially. It's going to really depend upon if the administration there can work hand in glove with investors. They're going to have to, because they're not going to have any additional buyers at all, right? Because they drove out the homeowners with these bad policies. So there could be an opportunity for real estate investors to do that. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, guys? So again, there could be an opportunity, a great opportunity. Yes, it could be. All right, let's keep it going. Now, guys, let me see here. And now we're done with that. Now let's see what homeowners are saying. Homeowners are saying this. Remember, I'm saying that this could lead to a foreclosure. Let's see what the homeowners are saying. All right, here we go. Let's get it in. Here we go.
Mayor Mamdani's proposed budget has scared a lot of people. Homeowners, co-op and condo owners, building owners, anyone who could see their property tax bills go up if Albany doesn't find extra money to bail the city out of its fiscal crisis. Political reporter Marcia Kramer has the story.
Flushing, Queens is a neighborhood of homeowners who are proud of their leafy streets, tiny plots of land, and the ability to have a touch of suburbia. Many, like Paul Graziano, have lived in the neighborhood for decades, but now they're worried they could be forced out by Mayor Mamdani's threat of a huge property tax hike. He says of his neighbors,
I think they would freak out.
Paul is worried too.
Absolutely impinge everything. I mean, I'm raising a 9-year-old kid, and everybody knows when you're raising kids, it's every dollar counts.
His taxes have already skyrocketed.
Wow.
When he bought this home in the neighborhood he grew up in, the taxes were $2,800. Now they're $11,000. Mamdani tax hike would mean another hike of over $1,000.
Let me hear that again. Wait a minute.
When he bought this home in the neighborhood he grew up in, the taxes were $2,800. Now they're $11,000. Mamdani tax hike would mean another hike of over $1,000, and he's furious.
This is coming from someone who has never had to fight for anything in his life, who grew up in privilege and wealth. So, of course, raising property taxes on rich people, such as himself, isn't much of a burden.
But it's not just homeowners. Ann Korshak owns 2 small West Side buildings, which each have 10 apartments.
There's no restraint. They just come to us as if we're an ATM machine.
She says the Mamdani tax hike, if it comes to fruition, will affect her tenants, too.
It's going to make it much harder for me to replace a boiler. Instead, I'm going to repair it. Patch a roof instead of replacing a roof. Those are the kinds of decisions you have to make when, 40% of your rent roll is going to the city in property taxes.
Wow. The mayor says raising property taxes is not his first choice. He wants more money from Albany. But
this is a budget that reflects the only tools that the city has at its disposal. When we are speaking about property taxes, that is a tool of very last resort.
So a tool of very last resort, he just said there, Marcia. Then why is he doing it?
If you ask me, he's trying to raise an army. Remember that army of volunteers that help him get elected? Well, he wants an army of people that are going to call their elected officials and scream bloody murder, don't raise my taxes.
Well, at this news conference that you attended, you did ask the mayor if he would really do this, if he would really raise property taxes. tell everyone what he said, but
well,
also
he actually dodged that question. But
Really?
the truth of the matter is that a lot can happen. This is a preliminary spending plan. The budget happens around May, depending on what happens in Albany. And a lot can happen. Revenues could go up. The state could decide to give more money. He could find waste in government agencies. The real question is this: it's an election year. Is the governor going to raise taxes? Is the legislature going to raise taxes when they have to face the voters in November?
All
Big
right.
question.
Marcia.
Guys, you heard it. You heard it right there, guys. You heard it right there. You heard a property owner say that, man, this is going to hurt him, and then you actually heard a real estate investor who actually owns apartment buildings units say that 40% of the rent roll is going to the city. 40%. That's crazy, guys. Typically, when you're underwriting a deal for apartments, normally the operating budget is probably around, and that's everything. Operating is what, 50%? 40%? So what she's saying, that the city is taking the operating budget. Golly. Wow, that's wow. Lonzo said that's what stopped me from buying in 2017. The ask was 1.25. I negotiated down to 950, but the taxes were insane. Insane. It don't make no damn sense. And get this, the solution is never to stop spending your money. It's always to what? Ask the state government for money or tax everybody else. It's never stop printing money. Curb your spending. That's never it is. So could this lead to some type of foreclosures? The answer is yes. In the residential arena and the commercial arena. Would I buy in New York? No. Why? You're seeing why. The administration, the government. It is tenant friendly and anti-landlord. No, won't do it. Nope. I'm biting on the headache. And for me to evict someone out, you're looking at probably a 24 to 36 month time frame. If I finance out a house there, or a finance out a building there, you're looking at 60 months to foreclosure. 60. I'm just saying. Just saying, guys. So the answer for me is, can it happen? Yes. All right, guys. Now, let me get to the breaking news today real fast. And this is important because it does affect some people. Breaking news: the Supreme Court rules against Trump's global tariffs. Ruled against Trump's global tariffs. Okay. Now, this is big news. This is big news, guys. Big news. So let's see what's going on real fast, guys. And we'll dive into it. And we'll see how this ties into real estate, guys. It's important for us to know what's going on. Okay? So let's listen to this real quickly. Here we go.
Alert for you. It's finally here. The Supreme Court has made a decision on President Trump's tariffs. This is a huge case, a big ruling. It comes right before the State of the Union. And Shannon Bream, of course, is standing by with us. Shannon, do we have an initial thought on what the ruling is?
We do. We've got a very fractured opinion, but initially what it says, we know it's authored, the primary opinion, by the Chief Justice, and says essentially that this IEPA, this law that grants the president emergency powers, did not, it looks like by this first blush reading by the Chief Justice here, does not give him the power to levy these tariffs that he's levied. Part of this initial opinion says, the words regulate and importation, the president says that gives him the independent power to impose tariffs on imports from any country, any product, any rate, any time. These words, it says, cannot bear such weight. We know we've got a dissent by Justice Kavanaugh, by Thomas and Alito, it looks like, and those were the three we thought during the arguments, if anyone would be persuaded to allow the president to move forward with these tariffs, they would be the ones to do it. So at first blush, like I said, there are multiple occurrences to this opinion, but it looks like what the primary holding is going to be is that these tariffs cannot be used in the way that the president had tried to use them Let me get you to the closing paragraph that we have in this initial opinion here. It says, the president asserts the extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. In light of the breadth, history, and constitutional context of that asserted authority, he must identify clear congressional authorization to exercise it, meaning if he wants to do it, he's got to show that Congress has allowed him to do it. But they say IEPA, this emergency powers law, contains no reference to tariffs or duties. The government points to no statute in which Congress used the word regulate to authorize taxation. And until now, no president has ever read IEPA to confer such powers. We claim no special competence in matters of economics or foreign affairs, but we claim only, as we must, the limited role assigned to us by Article 3 of the Constitution. Fulfilling that role, we hold that IEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. We'll keep reading. That is the first blush, authored by the Chief Justice John Roberts.
Wow.
Shannon Bream, thank you so much. Bill Malutian is with me, and we will anchor through this hour. This is big breaking news, everyone. And Jonathan Turley is a constitutional law attorney and George Washington law professor. He's a Fox News contributor. We have been waiting for this decision. It is finally here. I don't think the White House will be surprised, even though they will be disappointed. They will probably vehemently disagree. But this is at least definitive, it sounds like, Jonathan, from the Supreme Court, that this was not allowed.
It is indeed, and this is what some of us predicted. This was a case where the administration was at a disadvantage. IEPA does not refer to tariffs, and tariffs are a big deal under the Constitution. It's a critical form of revenue that is left to Congress. And I thought that the administration did a terrific job in front of the Supreme Court. They could not have argued this case better, in my view. But you can't really escape that language. And right out of the bat, when that oral argument began, the Chief Justice John Roberts said, this is a tax. And you could almost hear the administration gulping, because that's not what they wanted the justices to take from their argument. But Roberts and others clearly view this as a tax that rests with Congress. Now, there's a lot of runway still for the administration. We have to really get into this opinion, into some of the weeds, to see if it is prospective only, but also the administration has other tools in its toolbox. It can actually impose tariffs under other statutes. So this night is hardly over for the administration when it comes to tariffs.
And Jonathan, the Supreme Court took months to make this decision. They had oral arguments back in November.
So Jonathan Turley, he is a constitutional attorney, one of the most brilliant minds, in my opinion, on the Constitution in the nation concerning this. His opinion was, I like what he said. He said that the president's attorneys argued the case brilliantly in front of it, but he said that in the verbiage of the IEPA, which is IEEPA, there's language in it that says that the president cannot do this. I'm gonna do a more deep dive on this on the Kind of podcast, guys. But I wanted to bring this in because there's a business component to this as well. Real said, it says, Real says, we're all right. Okay, we're on tariffs. We are talking about this with complex the other day. Gotcha. I may do a live stream on TikTok as well to go a little deeper on this. Guys, you're welcome to come up and talk with me, and let's just reason together on this one. So I can hear what Jonathan Turley said. Now let's bring in another legal eagle on this, guys. This is Jonathan Wu, another brilliant mind on this, and he has a different perspective than what Jonathan Turley actually said real quickly on this. And then we'll kind of go from there. Then I bring on the business side of this. But this is very important. It's important for us to understand what's going on politically from a federal, state, county, and municipal. You're a business owner. You're a real estate investor. You're a private equity investor. Know what's going on because you have to interact with these individuals to make these rules. All right, let's get into it.
Let's go ahead and bring in former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo. John, you're watching this breaking news with us. Huge ruling this morning, going to have worldwide impacts, and the president has said a ruling like this is really going to hurt the economy, and you've heard Shannon talking about it. How are we going to figure out how to return this money that has been brought in, hundreds of billions of dollars? Give us your initial reaction to this ruling from the Supreme Court today.
This is a major restriction on a president's ability to act during times of emergency. There were two questions. Is there an emergency at all posed by the trade deficits? And then did Congress give the president the power to impose tariffs under the IEEPA statute when it said, when Congress said the president can regulate, quote unquote, regulate economic relations with another country? Notice here in the opinion, the court does not touch the question whether in the national emergency. So that part of the president's power is still preserved. The part that's been narrowed, of course, as the others have said, is the word regulate does not include the power to impose a tariff. That doesn't mean the president can't do this in the future.
Correct.
There are other trade laws which explicitly delegate from Congress to the president the ability to impose tariffs. The thing that President Trump has to do, which he didn't do in these tariffs, remember, he did these worldwide at once for all products. Essentially, court is saying you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to do it country by country. Individual countries have to be shown to be engaged in unfair trade practices or have to be shown to be a national security threat and has to be a report. And it will take President Trump roughly a year if he really wants to go forward with the tariffs. Now, I like Shannon's point a great deal. This might be a blessing in disguise because we just had GDP report numbers from last year that show the economy significantly slowed. If all the tariffs that President announced are immediately eliminated and he has to take about a year, if he really chooses to do it again, has to take about a year to impose these tariffs again, that might actually have a positive boost on the economy, which could have a very positive effect on President Trump and Republicans by the midterm elections.
While we await any word from the White House to respond, one of the things I remember, John.
That's John Woo. Great perspective from John on that one, which is pretty good. Now let's bring in, guys, the business side of this. Okay, business side of this. Let's bring in the PBD, them, Patrick McDavid, and the crew over there at Valuetainment on this. And this came in while they were live and on the show, on the live stream. So, I mean, this is you're going to get a clear, real-time response from them. Let's get to it. Here we go.
Oh my God!
This just happened.
They struck down the tariffs. This was going to happen.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God, Tom! Did you just see that?
Yeah, it's 6-3. I haven't seen the list of judges, but 6-3 has to mean that Comey and Roberts joined the three.
Like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? We're winning, and it's working. And look at what we want to talk about the deep state. That's it right there.
So major breaking, the U.S. Supreme Court has just struck down President Trump's tariff authority 6-3.
Terrible.
Supreme Court just wrecked our country, one of the biggest economic comebacks in the world history, just thrown into.
Hell? By the way, Neil Gorsuch joined
Play the clip,
liberal
Play
majority.
The clip. Are they saying anything, or is it just an update?
I have not been able to check it out.
Let's just see the first 10 seconds.
We do. We've got a very fractured opinion, but initially what it says, we know it's authored, the primary
I just want to know who voted against it, Tom. Did you pull it up?
It says essentially that this
has to be Amy
law that grants the president emergency
Gorsuch.
powers did not, it looks like by this first blush reading by Justice, the Chief Justice here, does not give him the power to levy these tariffs that he's levied. Part of this initial opinion says the words regulate and importation. The president says that gives him the independent power to impose tariffs on imports from any country, any product, any rate, any time. These words, it says, cannot bear such weight.
How's the market reacting to it, Rob?
By Justice Kavanaugh.
Just go to the market. How's the market reacting to it? Is it an immediate uptick?
Unbelievable.
It's an immediate uptick. Interesting.
Uptick in the market. Interesting.
Not by a lot. Not by a lot, but let's just see if it just happened in the last
30 minutes.
So when did this happen, Rob?
30 minutes ago.
This happened, this update about tariffs is how long ago? Did it just happen right now, or was it 30 minutes ago?
I saw like 12 minutes was when it
Everything
happened.
I see, the first release, Pat, was 10:02 a.m. Eastern.
Yep,
half
about
hour
25
ago.
minutes ago.
Okay, guys, then the market's reacting to this. That's what the market's reacting to. Because the market was flat, 49,280, and then it went up 300. It went all the way up to 40. Yeah. So
why would the markets go up based on this
Well, you have
news?
to realize there are some people that are feeling like that pinch that they were paying the addition, because they see it as a tax, as the way they're
short-term.
So a short-term tax that they were paying on this. This is one of those things I do not like. Listen, I was with Rand Paul, and I asked him the question, and I said, Rand, why does the president keep bringing up the fact that if the Supreme Court rules against tariffs, why does he keep saying that? He says, because it's most likely going to rule against the tariffs.
Correct.
He said this 3 weeks ago. Remember that when I came back and I shared that? Yeah, so interesting. Tom, what do you think is going to happen next?
So I'll tell you what I think is going to happen, but I'll add this. CNN is reporting that Neil Gorsuch joined Robertson Barrett in the moderate opinion, joining the liberals. So Neil Gorsuch, appointed by Trump, is one of the judges that voted, making it 6-3, not 5-4. I was expecting 5-4 because I was expecting Comey and Roberts to sit on the moderate middle where they've been. So what this means, I trust Scott Bessent. And Scott Bessent said there are other tools that they can use to negotiate.
Yeah, they can.
I think there's going to be a lot of celebration. Oh, we defeated Trump and stuff. But you got to go back and look. There's a lot of trade deals, several trade deals that were key that got done because the tariffs were there. And tariffs were coming back. Just yesterday, Japan said they were investing $30 or $40 billion in the U.S. in a natural gas power plant in Ohio, and that Trump was pulling back tariffs to 15% on certain things. And so I think that this is bad for Trump, and the mainstream media is going to run with it and say, he's been given a bloody nose by the Supreme Court. Oh, look, Neil Gorsuch has joined. It's one of his own judges. You're going to hear all that. But he used the tariffs as tactics, not taxes. They didn't turn out to be taxes. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, was 0.1 less year over year, which was just released last week. So the tariffs didn't cause the great inflation. That's not a claim. That's a statistical fact from the data coming from our own government. So I think what you're going to see here is Trump has to take different tactics to negotiate internationally, B, but A, mainstream media and the Dems are going to run with this and saying, see, I told you he was a monarch. I told you he was dictator. I told you he was wielding a red pen like a king. No kings. You're going to hear all that crap. But what has really happened here is he's going to have to change his tactics. And let's remember what happened in the middle. Between now and a year ago, those tariffs were used to successfully negotiate trade agreements in the benefit of America first, not America only, but America first.
I could make another.
Okay, here are my thoughts on this. Real quickly, come back to me, guys. Real quickly. I hear what Tom is saying. This ruling does not restrict President Trump from implementing tariffs. Does not. What it's saying is the certain act, the IEE, the IEPA, does not give him the authority to do this without the regulation, permission from Congress. This is what it says, right? So then you have Justice Thomas come out and say, well, hey, this has been done for a long period of time. Congress has allowed this to happen. And I'm paraphrasing him. So he should be able to do this. And I would say both sides are correct. Because there is language in here in that the IEPA that does state that basically the authority, there's no language giving the authority to the president. What has happened over this time frame is Congress has just allowed him to do it without any type of court action or taking him to court, right? So that's what's been going on. And so President Trump has been operating under that past purview. Now, someone has now challenged this on this specific act in the court, and it's how it got to the Supreme Court. Now, Trump did not use this law at all when it came to Iran or China or other countries, because he used basically Article 2, I believe, saying that, under the national security threat of Iran, I'm implementing tariffs, because Trump has said on camera that the use of tariffs have stopped wars. So he can use that type of pivot to implement tariffs. So he's not out of the woodwork. He can still use tariffs. Not a problem with it at all. But under that IEPA law, he can't use it at all. So Justice Roberts is correct, as well as Justice Thomas is correct. The problem with this is Congress, the legislative branch. So now you have the judicial branch, the executive branch now has this resolved, right? But the problem has been the legislative branch, the House and the Senate. Excuse me, why I get a little hood. House and the Senate, get off your asses. And if Republicans, if you don't like this ruling, you have the House and the Senate. You can bust the filibuster. Give him the authority then. Give it to him. Don't go on a camera and talk, because all you guys are professional talkers. Be operators. Be executioners. Go out, get together, correlate, draft a bill, give him the authority, pass it in the House, pass it in the Senate. Everybody's happy. That's how you solve this. So the Supreme Court is saying, we don't see that in statute. Congress, you are welcome to draft this if you would like. You're welcome. Now, if you don't believe me, guys, watch this. Let me bring back PBDM. They actually have someone on right now that's there, guys. He's actually a sitting member of Congress. Watch what he says.
Argument for what I think the president should do. I'd read this quote: "When Congress grants the power to impose tariffs, it does so clearly and with careful constraints," Roberts wrote. "It did neither here." Now, while I don't agree with that, I think the president was absolutely within his rights. What I think folks in your audience who stand with Trump need to do is they need to call people like me and say, pass a bill to give him those tariffs. What the Supreme Court is saying is not that the president can't impose tariffs.
Congress. Yeah.
Well, what they're not saying he can't impose tariffs. They're saying he didn't have the congressional authority to impose tariffs. So we have a choice. We have a choice. And look, it may make us blow up the filibuster in the Senate.
Blow it up.
But we do have a slight majority in the House.
Please do.
And we do have a slight majority in the Senate. And so we, as a Congress, can choose to give him that power, because what President Trump has done is he has brought in an extraordinary amount of money to the country in the form of these tariffs, which really are just sales taxes on foreign goods. He's reduced the trade deficit. He's making people invest in this country. He's bringing down the deficit, and he is using it as to wield other people. And what the Supreme Court's not doing is saying other countries can't tariff us.
Exactly.
And that is what is apparently everyone thinks tariffs are a great idea when China and Europe and everyone else does it to the United States, but it's the worst idea in the world when we do it back. So I think what people ought to be doing is picking up the phone, calling their congressmen and say, fine, if the Supreme Court says the president doesn't have the power, then you all give it to him.
Can you imagine if you are a leader of China or Iran?
So guys, he is spot on. He is spot on. So, Majority Leader Thune in the Senate, Speaker Mike Johnson, it's time to earn your paycheck, big dog. I get together, draft legislation that gives him this authority, pass it. It's that simple. Come off of another vacation and work if you want him to have this authority. Very simple. Now, watch what PBD says about our opponents. All right, here we go. Watch this.
Iran or Russia, you know what you're saying? You know, it's kind of like, remember when Mayweather was fighting Pacquiao or whoever it was, he would say, go talk to your boss. Go talk to your boss. Go talk to Bob Arum. Go talk to Don. I don't have to talk to anybody. I'm my own boss. These places like China and Russia are going to sit there and say, you think you have power? Ha, ha, ha. We're going to put tariffs on you. No, you're not. So then the question becomes the following: is for somebody who moves as quickly as an operator, as a capitalist that competes in free enterprise, and a founder, guess what you like? You like that you can make a decision what? Very quickly versus slowly. And I got to go through the process of all this other stuff. This is why some people prefer working for a small business ran by a founder than working for a corporation ran by committees and a bunch of different people. So, Tom, Randy, this kind of comes to you guys. Do you think he is now going to sit there and say, because you know how Trump is, he's going to be like, oh, okay, no problem. You know, it's kind of like when a father, the kid says, you can't put your hands on me. I will go tell the school. And the teacher says, oh, really? No problem. Take the TV, take the video games, take everything we have out of the house, put it in the garage. Go ahead, son. Go ahead, honey. Give me the car keys. Give me your cell phone. You're right. I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to put you on because you're going to go tell school. Go tell school I took your phone, your iPad, your computer, your video games, your TV away from you. So what is that now? Because he's wired like that.
Of course.
Is it now sanctions? Is it now, hey, if anybody does business with Huawei, if anybody does business with this, is that the or is he going to need to get is he going to need to get the help from Congress to do sanctions, or can he do that himself?
I think there's two things. I think he has other tools in the tool chest.
Such as what?
He can limit who we do business with.
Does he need your approval?
No, not for certain things. There are other tools in the tool chest to manage trade, so he's got other tools. But I think it's a two-part path. I think he should use those tools, and I think he should come to us and say, "Give me the power." I would give him the power. What's extraordinary about this, and what's so disappointing, is this is working. This has been they said, oh, it'll kill economic growth. We've doubled the economic growth we got under Biden.
Right.
They said it'll drive inflation. We've got half the inflation that we had under Biden. All this is something that has made trade with the United States fair. I don't even know why we call them tariffs. What they are is they are sales taxes on foreign goods. That's what they are. We charge sales taxes on just about everything. And so I think we need to give the president the power to redo this, but I think he'll have other tools in the tool chest. It's just disappointing. It's like, why, when America's standing itself back up, do people have to slap it down?
Well, that's my question is, Randy, why would...
So again, guys, I want to dive through that because of the fact that in real estate and private equity, whatever you do is business, you are a business owner. And so rulings like this can either hinder you or you can take advantage of it. Either way it goes. So, in my opinion, this falls right on Congress. Congress, get off your asses and give them the authority if you want them to have it. But the president does have other tools. Because I agree, the tariffs, in my opinion, have been working. They were a great business strategic move. I agree with Rael that Alito and Justice Thomas are the GOATs. You actually had the three liberals, John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett, which I'm kind of really disappointed in her a lot, unfortunately. And it was somebody else because it was Gorsuch. Oh yeah, and Gorsuch. No, it was Gorsuch, Roberts, Barrett, and then the three liberals was made it six, and then you had Alito, Thomas, and then Kavanaugh. What they did? The dissenting views. So again, this falls right in the lap of Congress. Both Justice Thomas is correct, and both Chief Justice Roberts are correct. You are feeling the effects of one branch of government, which is notorious for this, not doing their freaking jobs. They love kicking the can down the curb, but they want execution from the executive branch and the judicial branch, or they suck at what they do. Again, but as an owner, you're going to have to understand how to navigate these type of things. All right? So let me know in the comment section, does this affect your business or not? Right? Will it affect real estate? Not necessarily. No. Maybe from new construction, if you're building property, I do new construction projects. So it may drive the cost up a little bit more. I just become more of a negotiating hawk. So whenever the interest rates are higher, guys, or the price points are higher, I negotiate a lower price point for me to buy it. I reinvert the deal. Okay, so it's reinvert the deal. But you look at Trump as an operator. He gets some bad news. He's not happy about it, but he quickly pivots. See what I'm saying? So now we got some news, whether it be good or bad for you, pivot. What are you gonna do? Pivot. What are you gonna do? It's not hard, guys, at all. It's not hard at all. So we, as real estate investors, we have to be able to have the right strategy, no matter what the news is. Make sense, guys? Guys, that's all I have for today, guys. God bless you. Real quickly, guys, as I finish, again, we're giving our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing ebook, guys. It is how to locate distressed properties in your city, county, or state. And also, we are adding how you can use AI to draft your scope of work and pull comparables in for your subject property. And use AI to draft images of your after repair work. So you can actually present a total package to the appraiser up front. We're going to include those prompts in that ebook. That should be done over the weekend, guys. That's going to be pretty cool. If you want the ebook, guys, DM me the word real estate, scan on the QR code or the show notes, guys. Click on the show notes, guys. Let's see here. I agree with you. Got to be nimble. Got to. Also, guys, one sec here. Come on. My computer's moving. We're so big. My bad. Let's see here. Also, guys, if you are wanting, I am tired. I'm sorry, guys. Guys, if you don't want to do business at all in real estate, no worries. There's other business models out there, guys, specifically in the financial technology industry, guys. This industry has blown up. AI has eliminated a lot of jobs, has opened up a lot of other business models, specifically in the healthcare arena, the banking arena, right? And also the energy arena. This is called financial technology, guys. It is fairly cool to be able to do this, guys. So if you want to know more about this type of other business model that may work well for you, that may not work well because you may not want to do real estate, that's okay, guys. Again, DM me the word mentor, scan the QR code right there on the screen or in the show notes, guys. Click on the link. Go watch the free information. It's free. It is free. Like the ebook, it's free. Go watch it and see if this model works well for your vision and to meet your goals. All right, guys. And then lastly, guys, real quickly, I am beginning a new, what do you call it? The Accountable Podcast Whiteboard edition, where I invite on business moguls to come on, talk about who they are, how they got to where they're at, and write down the formulas that they use to get there. Here is a little bit of a taste of. Here we go. One of the many questions that I receive is, Liddell, how do I get into those rooms? Well, this interview series is just for you. So welcome to the room.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run a whole town, don't we? This power money can't slow down. Money won't slow down. Ooh, we doing a lot. How we got on top. How we got on the top. Network and hustle.
Guys, that's the Counter Move podcast, guys. The whiteboard edition, guys. That's gonna be probably once a month. We have someone to come on. I'm gonna try to do it live in the studio, guys, so you can see what's going on, which would be pretty cool. I think it'll be kind of really fun. And then lastly, guys, do me a favor, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, guys, if you could. That helps our algorithm out, which would be great for you guys. Click on the little bell so when I come live with Cliff, you come kick it with us, guys. But guys, that's all I have for today, guys. Did I miss anything at all? No, I did not. Well, guys, have a good weekend. God bless you. I'm finna go on a date with my wife. You know what I'm talking about? With my wife. My boo thing. All right, guys. Guys, God bless you. You know I end it every single time before you leave and while you can, baby. You see that thing. take that damn picture and give it to your mama them. Holla at your partner. God bless you guys. See you next week, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. Still working 40+ hours a week and still broke. Inflation's outpacing your wages. Insurance is insane. And your side hustle just isn't cutting it. What if I told you there was a way for you to build income by leveraging and using the exact same technology that banks and big corporations currently use right now, with no inventory and no tech skills needed? We have helped hundreds escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap by sharing smarter services like lower cost healthcare, competitive auto and home insurance, better loan products, higher yield bank deposits, and even ways to cut energy costs, all in one place. Take this 30-second quiz to see if you qualify. Click on the link below or click on the link in my bio. My whole thing is, one thing I hear a lot of the times when it comes to anybody in real estate is, I don't have the money or the credit or the time or the intellectual property. And I said, oh, okay, no problem. I have the money, have the credit, have the relationships. I'll teach you how to locate a good deal, right? Buy below wholesale.
I love that.
And once I teach you that, right, I'll bring me the deal. I help you underwrite the deal, which is fine. I'll even fund the transaction for you as well. So there's no excuses on the table at all. That's why we call that the cash flow club, period. So what happens is, people always ask me all the time, Dale, can you train me? Well, I don't have the time to do that. But what if I set up a platform for it to where you get on-demand training? Anytime you want to, because the training you may need may be after you get off work, early in the morning, during the day. You just log into your account and get the same training as if I'm sitting there one-on-one. We're talking about our attorneys, our general contractors, our appraisers, as well as me, talking about how to structure your business, how to put together what they call a power team. A power team is very important. How to put a deal together, right, and buy it at the right price point. How to market. That's one technique that people don't understand. That you can actually get a list of properties that from your city for free.
Whoa. So walk me through that. Like, you can physically get buildings or homes or properties available for free?
Yeah, I'll send you guys the bill in the mail. It's real simple. What you can do is you can actually call down to your city and ask for the violations division. What happens is you say, hey, I want to see what homes in our city actually have violations. What are violations? High grass, no paint, vacant. You have boards on there. Those are actually violations that the city, or citation that the city has actually levied against that property. They'll give you that list for free. It may be a little bit of a fee, maybe $100.
Sure.
But it is what it is. Then what you do is you actually you can contact those sellers of those properties one-on-one.
Wow, and that's how you make your money. That's one way. That's one way.
If you'd like to learn how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below, swipe up, DM me the word to real estate to download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed. I'll let your partner and download the ebook today.
Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big